She's ready. All right, let's go ahead and get started. My name is Brian McNeill, and some of you guys know me as a sales coach. My company is called Very Personal Sales Coaching. I have been helping people to sell better for more than 25 years. I've got thousands of clients across the country. I've got hundreds of testimonial letters, and I'm the author of 4 books. My first book is called The Shortcut, the fastest route to selling your services better than you ever had before, so you can earn more money than ever before. The second book that followed that up was called Asking for the Money, How Anyone Can Close More Sales, Even You. The third book was called A Children's Book, Why Rhinos Make Great Salespeople, featuring Mr. Randall the Rhino. It's anamorphic and it's fantastic. I love the book. And the fourth book is actually a workbook from my first book, the Shortcut Workbook. So we're going to get it in tonight. And again, I won't waste anybody's time. You guys honored me with your presence. So we're going to go ahead and get it in. First things first, I want to play with Sister Kiera Witten. So make yourself live on the mic, and I'm going to ask you some questions. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Sister Kiera, I'm going to put you in a scene first, okay?
Okay.
And let's say that you're at a networking function, and it's a good one. Mm-hmm. It's your kind of people there, business people, no loud music, no one drinking excessively, just professionals getting to know each other that went there for the express purposes of networking with other professionals. You've been to those kinds of things before, right?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So you end up in a friendly huddle with a couple of guys and a couple of ladies. Y'all have a good party conversation. You're enjoying them. They're enjoying you. And then the conversation swings around and someone says, in that scene, someone says, so Kiera, what do you do for a living? Now, in that scene, how do you answer that question?
I help people make money.
You help people make money. Let's role play it out. How do you do that?
Sorry.
Now, you're at a party. You'll say something. Come on, my sister.
I say, well, I help them build a business, become entrepreneurs themselves.
Okay, cool. That's the first question, okay?
Okay.
Now, the second question, Sister Kiera, is who do you believe would pay for your services?
Everybody.
Everybody, okay? The third question, now those people that choose to hire you, once they hire you, what do you call them?
My partners.
Your partners, okay? Last question for you, sis. What business would you say that you are in?
The opportunity business.
You're in the opportunity business. Got it. Now, I'm going to pretend I'm in your business, okay? And I want you to ask me, what do I do for a living?
So what do you do for a living?
Kiera, you know how there are so many people that want to be in business for themselves. And a lot of times, those people, they actually go into business for themselves. And what they discover shortly thereafter is that they're either not making the money that they thought they'd make, or they're not having the fun they thought they'd have, and it frustrates them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, what I do is I actually help these entrepreneurs to actually prosper through their businesses, through my services as a consultant in the industry. But I do this so that they can earn more money, have more fun, and fully live out what they went out to do. That's what I do. Now, how was my answer?
It's pretty good.
Pretty good. Was it close to what you do?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was it better than yours? It was. Now, here's the deal. Now, that took me right at 29 seconds to do. Okay? It took me 29 seconds to tell you what I did. I gave you a story. Now, the way you answer those questions when I ask them to you, I will say to you, you are losing money answering it that way. You're losing potential business. I help people make money. Okay? That's what you told me. That's great. And when I ask you who would hire you, you said everybody. That's an incorrect answer. Okay? Only the right people for you will hire you. Mm-hmm. And the business that you're in is not true. Okay, let me help you, okay?
Okay.
Now, I know those sound like bold statements, and anyone on this line has the opportunity to challenge me. But first things first, if you earn your money through people, if you earn your money through clients or partners, as Kiera called them, if all your money comes through these people, then your real business is the capturing and keeping of a new client. That's your real business. Now, that's not what you tell people, but it's what I want you to understand. As a sales coach, I want you to understand that your real business is capturing and keeping a new client, I feel like what I've learned over time is when people understand that their real business is capturing and keeping a new client, that adds more focus to their days, that helps them work the right way. If everything you're doing is focused on helping you to capture and keep a new client. Now, Sister Kiara and everyone else on the line, this will be rebroadcast umpteen times, by the way. So I'm happy that Sister Margaret has a beautiful smile and Kiara has a beautiful smile, and everyone else here is cool too. I think I look good right now, so we go. Now, first things first, whenever you're given an opportunity to tell what you do, in any kind of direct communication by phone or in person, if they ask you the question and you get an opportunity to answer right now, anytime you get anything like that, that is an opportunity for you to first introduce into the conversation a problem that your services solves. You introduce a problem that your services solve. And the way I recommend you do it is with the preface of, you know how. You know how is an invitation to agree. You're inviting them to agree. Now, once you say you know how, then you introduce a problem that your service solves. And it needs to sound like an easy to agree upon problem, something they don't have to struggle to figure out. You know how there are so many people that are struggling to earn money. And what you're looking for is for them to agree on the problem. You're looking for them to agree on the problem in any kind of a way. A head nod, an uh-huh, a yup, a yes. Any kind of agreement is enough. Even the slightest agreement is enough. So you get them to agree on the problem you solve first. The moment they agree on the problem that you solve, the moment they agree on what the problem that your service handles, at that moment, they have metaphorically taken you by the hand. And now you could take them on a journey. So I get them to agree on the problem I solve first. Once I got them to agree on the problem, once I suggest that you get them to agree on the problem, then you transition them with the next thing you need to write, which is, well, what I do is. Well, what I do is, well, comma, what I do is. Well, what I do is, now you are introducing yourself as a solution to the problem. You're introducing yourself as the answer to the question, as the aspirin to the headache. You need to paint yourself as if you are the solution to the problem that they just agreed was a problem. You say, well, what I do is, you tell what it is that you do, and you add that you're doing it through your company or through your services. Well, what I do is I help those people in that situation to do better through my services as a sales coach, for example. Don't forget to mention yourself, because you want to paint yourself as if you're the solution to the problem. Amen? Y'all with me so far? Nod your head, something. Thank you. Now, the third part of your story, the ending of the story. You know how is the beginning. Well, what I do is the middle, so that they can is the ending. The ending of your story is more important than the beginning or the middle. The ending of your story is the most important part. And the crime that Kiara committed was she did not end her story. Okay, you missed an opportunity by not ending your story. You do all that cool stuff. You help people to get money. You do all that cool stuff. For what? You do that so that they can actually prosper greatly in their business, so that they can live the life that they had imagined, so that they can not only pay bills, but do fun stuff, so that they can pay for the daughter's dance lessons, so that they can take that trip, so that they can. What is the great big benefit of having worked with you? You know how. Well, what I do is so that they can. Now, do we have, before we move on, do we have anyone on the line right now that is courageous enough to answer the question of, what do you do for a living using this formula? Anybody? Raise your hand. Let me know.
Go for it, Kiara.
Let's do it, Margaret. You ready, Margaret? Or Kiara?
I was wanting her to redo it.
You want Kiara to do it?
Redo it.
No, Kiara, you do it, okay? You do it, Kiara, and I will help you. Now, look, Kiara, you do not have to be smooth right now, okay?
Okay.
You don't. And you don't even have to be good right now. Just be formal. I'm going to ask you what you do for a living, and what I want to hear you say are the words, you know how, and then introduce a problem, and I'm going to be easy. I'm going to agree right away. And then I want you to transition me and say, well, what I do is, and then introduce yourself as a solution, and then say the words so that they can, and then give me a benefit of having worked with you. Are you ready, my sister?
I think so.
Let's do it.
Okay.
So, Kiara, what do you do for a living? You know how. Come on.
I'm trying to think of a good one.
You don't have to be that good. Just do it. You know how. Say the words.
You know how people are always looking for a company to get into at an entry level that they can really be on top of the business and
Yeah, I
really,
know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
oh, great. So what I do is help people build their business on an entry level in the company so that they can be one of the first representatives in their area.
Now, good job. Good job, my sister. Now, that was actually pretty good, actually. Now, how did it feel for you?
It felt a little bit better than my previous answer.
Good. Now, is that the first time that you've told your story that way?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Now, that first time is very important. Let me tell you. First, let me help you with your one that you just did. Don't forget in part number 2 to introduce yourself as a solution. Well, what I do is, and you gave a benefit, but make sure that you mention through my services or through my company or through my consulting or however you choose to do it, okay? Make sure you say that about yourself. But your beginning was good and your ending was good, okay? Now, that's the first time you've done it. Let's count that as time number 1. Here's what's going to happen. By the time you've told your story to 4 or 5 people with this formula, count this as 1. So within the next 4 or 5 people, you're going to notice that they respond to you differently than they had before. You're going to notice that they're going to start saying things like, really? Or huh? Or tell me more? Or how? Or they're going to start, you're going to notice just that fast within the first 4 or 5 people you tell this to, you're going to notice that their interest level is higher than it had been before. Now, it's going to take you 10 to 15 tries to get this right. 10 to 15 tries with 10 to 15 different people, because you might say it differently the next 9 times in a row, and that's okay. That's your learning curve. But somewhere between the 10th and the 15th time, someone's going to ask you what you do for a living. You're going to answer this question this way with this formula, and it's going to flow through you, and it's going to flow through you better than it ever had before, and they are going to say the words, wow. They're going to go, wow. Now, when you hear them say wow, you are going to have to resist the temptation to giggle, because Brother Brian told you they would say wow to this. Somewhere between the 10th and the 15th time. Are you going to be courageous enough to give this a try? Yes, no? Yes, you will. Okay, good. Now, this is, huh?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Okay, now some people will call this your elevator pitch. Some people will call this your introductory statement. I call it your story, because your money is in your story. Do you hear me? Your money is in your story, and it takes somewhere between 25 and 35 seconds to do. And that's it, 25 to 35 seconds. Now, this works beautifully because we know that there are 2 types of people that love stories, love them. One of them is children. They love stories. Children love stories. And the other type of person that loves stories is adults. And we know that's true because we watch movies and we pay for movies. We go to movie theaters, we Netflix and chill, and we read books because we like the story. Amen? All right. Amen means you heard, understand, and agree. Amen?
Amen.
I can't get over Margaret asking me if I had pajama bottoms underneath this suit.
Well, we only saw your good-looking half, you know.
All right. Now, here's the thing. Now that you've learned your story, I've told you it's going to take you 10 to 15 tries to get it right. I'm going to suggest to you that you tell your story to at least one new person on each day that you go to work. Like, for example, if you don't work on Sundays, you don't have to tell your story on Sunday. If you don't work on Saturday, you have to tell your story on Sunday. For any of the days you work, your first goal is to tell one new person a day your story, like a vitamin, like a one-a-day vitamin. Tell one new person a day your story. And here's how you do it. Your job henceforth, starting now, is to become very curious about other people. The more curious you are about other people, asking other people, what do you do for a living? Or how did you get into that? Or what do you like about that? The more you start asking other people these questions, the law of reciprocation kicks in. When you ask others what do they do for a living, they very often will answer the question and be thankful that you even asked, and then they'll ask you back, well, what do you do for a living? And that is the perfect setup for you to have your opportunity to tell your story. You know how? Well, what I do is so that they can. First goal is to do it once a day like a vitamin. Once you get good at that, then you're going to start telling your story twice a day. Once before lunch, once after lunch. The magic number in sales. The magic number. The magic number in sales is 4. If you ever can get to the place where you're telling your story to 4 new people a day, you cannot fail in your business. Cannot, physically unable to. But it takes a skill to get to 4. You're not going to be able to go from 0 times a day to 4. You got to learn how to get good at that. So you'll learn how to do 1 a day first. Then you'll learn how to do 2 a day. And then once you get skillful, you go up to 3, and the magic number is 4. Okay? Miss Nancy White, welcome. I love that you're on here. I love it when people that have been in my workshops before, that are already my friends, choose to invest in some time into themselves and pop on. Hello to you, my sister. Okay.
Hey, Brian, can I try it?
Yes. And brother Sir Charles, I am a big fan of Sir Charles. Thank you for joining up here. Sister Margaret Witten, what do you do for a living?
Well, you know how people are having to work longer than they thought they were going to have to?
I do know what you're talking about, yeah.
Well, what I do is help them build an income so that they can do what they want to do sooner.
Now that's pretty good, but make sure, like on part number 2, that you say through your services or through your company or through your business. Well, what I do is I help them to make that income through my services as a coach or a consultant or whatever it is. Don't forget to keep yourself in the story.
Okay.
Okay? Now, again, the most important part is the ending. So let's say, for example, you're in a situation where you don't feel like you have time to do your whole story. Okay? You're getting ready to get into a cab. They're walking out of the door. They're about to get off the elevator and they ask you what you do for a living. You feel like you only got a few seconds. If that's ever the case, just do the ending. Just do the benefits. The benefits. Well, what do you do for a living? I help people earn more money than they ever have earned before so that they can be more happy than ever before. I help people to prosper in their own business. I help people to be happy with the income. I help people to work less hours and earn more money. Just do the benefits if you only have a few seconds. Y'all get that? Because the benefits are more important than you and what you do. Did you hear that? That's not flattering to a lot of people. The benefit of what you do is more important than you and actually what it is. I hope y'all heard that point. Okay? So that's first things first. Your story, getting good at your story. Now, I'm going to teach you guys 4 words that you need to have in your arsenal. 4 words that you need to be using much more often. These words will carry you for the rest of your career in business. Okay? Now, first things first, I want you guys to understand that people will hire you or buy from you or choose to work with you for either emotional reasons or for logical reasons. Emotional reasons are the way they imagine that they're going to feel after they work with you, the way they imagine they're going to feel because of working with you, the feeling part of it. Logical reasons are because it makes sense. It's smart to do, and it's a good deal. Logic deals with the brain. Emotion deals with the heart. Now, whenever there's a conflict between the heart and the brain, the heart wins. The heart beats the brain most of the time. People do what they want to do way faster and way more often than what they need to do. The only exception is if the house is on fire and they need an extinguisher, okay, emergencies, okay? But other than that, they do what they want much more than what they need, okay? Now, the words, now I don't want to debate that because I don't want to keep you on the line here, but I promise you people buy 9 times faster for emotional reasons than they do for logical reasons. With that established, you guys have got to become very comfortable using emotional words. Emotional words comfortably. The first word I want you to start using much more comfortably, and I have no idea how often you're using it, but however often you're using it now, I want you to use this word much more comfortably in your business. And the word is love. L-O-V-E, love. Most adults have taught themselves how to become uncomfortable saying the word love. I, as a professional sales coach, am saying to you that I want you to start using the word love much more often and much more comfortably. Sister Margaret Whitten, give me a sentence using the word love to offer your services.
I offer my services.
You could do it, and you could do it. My style is participatory if you haven't figured out. You ready? Kiara's raising her hand. She's got one ready. You ready, Kiara? Give me a sentence using the word love to offer your services.
I love the freedom my team has when they have trusted me to help them build their entrepreneurship.
Now, that's a good sentence. Now, Kiara, I'm going to want you to do that sentence again, but this time, do that sentence without you being the star of it. How about doing it this way? You're going to love, or they love, or my team loves. You're going to love the results that we get by working together, or you're going to love, or they often tell me they love, da 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 da. You see the difference there? You're not the star of the story. The story, their emotions are much better. Y'all get that? Does that make sense, Kiara? So the first word is love. Learn to be comfortable using the word love. That's one of the words you cannot overuse, by the way. Love. You're going to love is a great preface of a sentence. Now, that's the most emotional word in the English language. Now, the second most emotional word in the English language starts with an H. Guess what it is?
Hate.
Someone always guesses hate, but it's not hate. Even if I only have one person on here, someone always guesses hate, but it's not. The second most emotional word in the English language is the word home. H-O-M-E. For most people, the word home is a place of comfort and familiarity and their own stuff and protection and security and mom and them and food. But most people, the word home is a very positive connotation. I'll be home for Christmas. There's no place like home, you know, right? Home, home, home. Now, somebody here, give me a sentence using the word home to offer your services. Anybody can do it. I heard Sir Charles a second ago. All right, no one's gonna raise their hands. Okay, everyone in your home will feel the benefits of having worked with me, or everyone in your home will notice a difference in you, or you'll enjoy going home much more because of the work you and I did together. Home, love, and home are the first two words I want you guys to use much more often. And a sentence, when you use both the word love and home in the same sentence, if you deliver those sentences with a good voice tonality, it can take on an almost hypnotic effect on the client.
Stop playing.
I'm not playing. Now, when I say good voice tonality, this is bonus. I didn't plan on telling you guys this tonight, but I'm going to tell you now. People can listen way faster than you can talk. So if you bore people with what you say, they got time to think about things other than what you're talking about. So here's the rule. When you're giving information about what you do, you should talk a little bit higher and faster. A little bit higher than you normally talk, and a little bit faster when you're just giving information, when you're telling what it is. Well, what I do is I help people to do this and this and this, and I offer these workshops a little bit slightly higher, slightly faster than you normally do when you're giving information, because that's how they want to hear it. But, and you should write this down, when attempting to persuade, you should talk slower and slower, because your most persuasive voice is your date voice. That is your most persuasive voice, and everyone has it. Now, the date voice thing is tricky. When you're going for the appointment or when you're going for the money, that's when you should drop it down. Sister Margaret, I would love to work with you. Or Sister Kiara, to make this happen the way you want it to happen. The only thing I need from you now is a little bit more information, and I'm going to need some money from you. Will you help me with it? That's when you're dropping your date voice. However, the date voice thing gets old fast. So you can't talk in your date voice the whole time. Only talk in your date voice when you're going for the money or the appointment. Y'all get me?
Gotcha.
Okay, does that make sense, Kiara? Margaret? Sir Charles?
Yes, sir.
Sister Nancy? Okay, cool. That's when you do that, okay? So I've given you two words that I want you to use much more often in offering your services. The first one was love and home. There's two more words that I want in your arsenal, okay? The third word is the word that people really wish they heard much more often. They wish that people would use this word on them more often. And almost no one hears this word often enough. But most people, the word I'm about to tell you is the sweetest sounding word that they hear during the course of their average day. And they wish that they heard it more often. This next word is their own first name.
Sir.
Their own first names. You want to get onto a first name basis with your clients as early as you can. Now, here's how I do it. I say, well, my name is Brian McNeill, and you're welcome to call me Brian. What would you like for me to call you? Well, call me Charles. Okay, great. And if they say, call me Charles or call me, now what if he said, call me Mr. Carey? Whatever he says to call him, that's what you should call him. They say, call me Mr. Williams, call him Mr. Williams, okay? But most people, when you say, well, look, my name is Brian, you're welcome to call me Brian, what would you like for me to call you? Well, call me Skippy. Okay, his name might be William, but he wants you to call him Skippy. And whatever he says to the question, what would you like me to call you? That's what I want you to do. This is one of the words that you cannot overdo. You can say it as much as you want, and you won't overdo it. And Charles, how do you feel about this? And Charles, and Charles, and Charles, and Charles. And
right.
Every time you say a person's first name, every time you say it, you come across as more friendly and more friendly and more friendly every time you use their name. By using their names, you are edifying them. You are paying them a compliment by your willingness to say their name. You edify them by saying their name. Say my name, say my name. Right? I know the song. Say my name. They want you to say their names, and you pay them a credit. You pay them a compliment by using their own first names. Y'all with me? Amen?
Amen.
All right, and the fourth word is called the magical selling word. This word is powerful. This word has worked on you your whole life. And even if you know it's coming, you are powerless to stop the power of the magical selling word. This word, I am saying to you to use it, but use it sparingly. Use this word, but use it sparingly, like garlic in your food. Sparingly is great. Too much, it ruins the meal. Now, I'm going to tell you a story first. There was this a newspaper ran an ad, a full-page ad in the New York City newspaper. And they said, come and get your free copies today. And people were lined up outside of a hotel lobby and down the block to get their free copies. And they sent test people through the line. Can I get in front of you, please? Because my babysitter has to leave, but I really need to make these copies. They say, sure, go right ahead. Can I get in front of you, please? Because my car is double parked and I really need to make these copies. Sure, go right ahead. This is in New York City. Every single person in that line has someplace else to be. Everybody thought they were testing copy machines, but they weren't. They were testing the power of words. Now, so far, I've used the magical selling word twice. What is it?
Please.
I did say please twice, but that wasn't the word.
Damn.
There were three words I said twice.
Free.
Okay. Huh? I did say free twice. Y'all got the first two, but it's still not the magical selling word yet. So the magical selling word starts with a B. The word is because. Because. You should work with me because. We should start now because. Everything you say after the word because takes on more weight, more power, and is believed more. They could have been telling you no the whole time. I understand you said no, but I'm going to ask you to change your mind because if you do change your mind and let me help you, we put this problem behind you. Because of the wonderful things he does, we're off to see the wizard. That's right.
I'm sorry.
It's no problem, man. It's no problem. I appreciate you being on. Look, use the word because. Why should they work with you? Because you will solve that problem. Because I want you to use the word, but this word wears people out too. You can't use it often. Now, to prove it to yourself how powerful this word is, when you're having dinner with someone or out and about at luncheon or whatever, say this into the conversation. I want you guys to give this a try. I want you guys to listen to me now because, and then don't fill in the because right away. Then take a drink of your water or a bite of your food. If you say because and then don't tell them what the because is right away, if they're chewing, they'll stop chewing. If they're sitting, you'll notice they lean forward. Why? Because they gotta know what the end of the story is. The word because indicates there's more to the story coming up, and the grown people can't stand stories not finished. So if you say because, even if you said the same thing before, but by prefacing it with the word because, this is the one word that causes people to change their minds. This word changes their minds. Love, home, your client's first name, and the word because. Because, use it, but use it sparingly. Their first names, use it often. Use the word love comfortably. I say the word love comfortably because that's a word that adults have taught themselves to not say very often. And I'm going to say to you, I want you to get comfortable saying the word love, talking about what you do. Get comfortable with it. Let it just like roll off your tongue, saying it often. So tonight we covered your story and we covered the 4 words that I want you guys to use much more often. And that's what I wanted to cover with you tonight. I believe by practicing your story and using these words, these little things, they might seem trite, but these little things make all the difference. Did anybody get any value in this session tonight?
Question and statement, may I?
Yes, sir, of course. Question and statement. I'll be ready for both.
Question first. I'll leave the statement later because the statement I think is really profound. What about when it's written? If you're writing and you're utilizing these words,
Yes.
same desired outcome or high likeliness to get the desired outcome?
What an awesome question. It is just as effective written. Yes.
What do I get for an awesome question? That was a good question.
That was an awesome question. Yeah. That's a great question. And what do I get? See, look at
I'm only kidding.
He's trying to leverage. It is just as effective. And you should use these words in your promotional materials and on your website.
Okay, here's the statement now.
Okay.
Today truly confirms what I've already known. Man, you are a master seller. Proud to be on your team, man.
Man, I love you, Charles. I count Charles Carey as one of my consistent encouragers. And the thing is, Charles is wonderfully accomplished. I admire what he's done in his life and what he's doing in his life. And for him to hang with us and to do things with us and to appreciate what we bring to the world means a lot to me. Thank you, sir.
Absolutely. Well deserved.
Miss Nancy had the same question you did, Charles, about whether it's written and versus verbalized. It is
Nancy.
Just as effective in written. And here's the cool thing about having it written down. The things that are written down in your materials, they'll ingest it more than once. They'll ingest it several times. That's what's so cool about having it in your promotional materials and in your sites and on your landing pages. Use these words, yes. Anyone else have any questions? That was a fun one for me. Clock is ticking. Well, if there's no more questions, I'm going to give you guys a gift if you haven't gotten it before. Okay. I have created a really cool ebook, and it's called the 1-2-3 Formula. The 1-2-3 Formula is in a very concise model, and what it does is it gives you a system. It gives you a system to take you from wherever you are right now to become more profitable within 1 month's time. And this is only for people who earn their money through clients or partners or whatever you choose to call them. If you're trying to gain more clients, this 1-2-3 formula will be helpful to you. So if you will, 1-2-3, what is the site, baby?
I'll email it to you.
Okay, if you will, do you have it up? Okay, my wife is going to email you all a free copy of the 1-2-3 formula. It's an ebook. Is there anyone here that already knows you don't want it? All right, we're going to do that for you. And the last thing I'll offer one more thing, because there might be somebody on this call tonight that found value, but they want a little bit more. And I give what I call a free selling your services consultation by phone. And all you got to do for that is call me, or you can go to my calendar. I'll just give you my phone number. Call me, 919-345-4893. Now, I am not going to tell you when to call me, because this is checkers. I made a move by giving you my phone number. So you call me when you want to talk about scheduling your free phone consultation with me. So I made a move. The next move is yours. Give me a call and we'll schedule your session. Your session will last 15 to 20 minutes, somewhere in that range, 25 minutes. I don't time it like that, but somewhere in that range. Have a paper and pen handy, and I promise you'll get great value in just 15 to 20 minutes. And that's all I wanted to cover. Anybody else have any closing statements for tonight? Anybody is welcome to. Sir Charles, if you want to say anything else in closing, Sister Margaret, Kiara, Miss Nancy, anybody.
Now, I was fighting like crazy to get on the webinar, man. I'm so glad I did, man. As always, you do an outstanding job. I love your style and your delivery. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. I am going to ask one person else to say something. And the reason why I want somebody that's willing to do a summary of what was covered tonight in their opinion. some kind of a summary of what they saw, what they participated in. Who's willing to do that? Miss Margaret?
Yeah, Brian, being on tonight, I've got lofty goals for the new year and for this coming year.
Tonight helped you get new goals?
Yeah. So
Now,
this gave me a great start to how to get those goals start building. And but the story, telling my story, that's been the hardest thing for me. I represent a great company with fantastic products and unbelievable compensation plan, but it's like when somebody says, "What do you do?" I always just get that deer in the headlights. It's like,
now here's the thing
so
about that.
much.
Yeah, here's the thing about that. You love the company, okay? It's a great company.
Mm-hmm.
It's got great products, got a great comp plan. Those are great things for you. What the people that you talk about, what they care about is, what problem are you solving? The problem that your stuff solves is paramount. The problem, okay? Lead with the problem and paint yourself as the solution to the problem, okay? What's compelling is the problem. That's what's compelling. Yeah. Okay, my company is local and we got a great big building and we do all this cool stuff. Great, not compelling. The problem you solve is compelling. Okay?
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
No, I'm not. Miss Nancy commented, she's offline, but she's in the chat. And she said, "Thank you for your great kindness and expertise. As usual, you are a master at sales."
I appreciate her. Now, to me, Miss Nancy is one of my heroes. She has given me one of the best pieces of advice in my life I ever got. She gave it to me about 3 years ago. And I'm going to share this advice that she gave me because I think it's one of the best pieces of advice I ever got. I asked Miss Nancy over coffee because she's an accomplished person as well. She makes a lot of money in network marketing, okay? I want to make as much money as she does in network marketing. So I asked her, Miss Nancy, what is the key for you? What is your secret to success? If you had it to do over again, is there anything you would have done differently? And she said, she paused and thought about it. And she said 2 things, Brian. Thing number 1 is I would have asked for more help. If she had her journey to do over again, she would have asked for more help. Asking for more help was the first thing out of her mouth. I was like, wow. And the second thing was, she said, I would have been willing to accept more help. Ask for more help and be willing to accept more help. That hit me like it was revolutionary when I heard it. And I'm a studier and I read, I'll be around great people. But when the way she said it to me, it meant something to me and it changed my life really. Just the 2 things, be willing to ask for more help and be willing to accept more help. I don't know how you heard that, but when I heard that, I was in my late 40s. And it was the first time I had heard it that succinctly and that straight arrow type thing, you know, pierced right through me. Wow. Ask for more help and be willing to accept more help. And that's a tough one too. So many of us, we get caught up in how great we are. We're not willing to accept more help. But that's all I got for tonight. Anybody else have anything else they want to say, or we're going to wrap it up? This has been a good time. We started at 7 on the dot. It's now 7:43. We did this thing within 45 minutes. Do you have anything you want to say in closing, maybe? Thank you guys for all honoring me with your presence. I will be reaching out to every one of you who registered here. You guys have a beautiful evening. God bless you guys.
Good night.
Good night.